Hello, everyone. Kelsey here. As you all know, I sent out an email a few weeks ago asking for your program, health coaching, job related questions. I know many of you are not able to make time in your busy schedule for one on one meetings with me. I have had lovely one on one meetings with many of you over the past couple of weeks asking about your personal program plans, next steps, etc. And then I also sent out that survey that a handful of you responded to about general questions that you have that would be applicable to everyone. So, what I'm going to do here is answer those questions that you all sent via the survey and answer some common questions that I heard in my one on ones and common questions that come up about the program in general. Now, many of you who asked questions are in the 294 or wrapping up the 294 section of your program journey with us. You will get a lot more information about next steps when you're in 298. But without further ado, here we go. One question I got is multiple times, especially in the one-on-ones, is what are the next steps after we finish our program with you in terms of preparing for the board exam, coaching clients, and getting started? So in preparing for the board exam, we have partnered with a wonderful health coach educator. Her name is Sonia Eklund, who runs a private coaching company and coach education company. And she has created multiple coach education training platforms before. She has developed an NBHWC board exam prep program that we partner with, that we offer free to students. Mesa College pays for that for you all. So when you are close to finishing your program, I will send you information on how to sign up for her program for free. And it walks you through modules to prepare for your exam, test taking tips, test taking skills, as well as multiple exam-based quizzes and a full-length practice exam that includes feedback about what you got right and wrong and why those answers might be correct or incorrect. So the vast majority of our students use this as their study program of choice because it is extremely robust and free to you. Additionally, students ask about the 50 coaching sessions that are required to sit for your NBHWC exam. So couple clarification pieces on this. One is that these are sessions, not hours. They need to be a minimum of 20 minutes in length, though they can be longer. And you can start counting these anytime after you finish Practical Skills Assessment 3, PSA 3. That is a coaching assessment that takes place in 298. That will be your third and final one. You record a coaching session with a classmate. You do a self-evaluation on yourself using the PSA rubric sheet, which we have given to you all and we'll give to you again in 298. And then Professor Jenny grades you as well. And you have to pass that final third one to then move on to graduate our program and to begin counting your coaching sessions. So those will happen in the final couple of weeks of 298. So the NBHWC really doesn't want you to be able to start counting your coaching sessions until you're near or at the end of your coaching program. So that is when you can expect to start counting those. And then many of you have all probably heard that our wonderful Professor Jenny has created Connecting Coaches to Communities, a nonprofit that connects graduates from health coaching programs with folks who are looking for coaching largely in nonprofit and educational spaces. So that helps. It's like a liaison service to help connect students with folks who want to be coached to get those sessions. And then we do have another couple of connections with platforms like Vibely, which is a coaching management platform, HIPAA compliant. And then with Sonia also that I mentioned before, has a program that connects students with other coach graduates from other programs to coach one another or find each other's friends and family members to be coached. So we do have resources for you there. Next question, does the NBHWC certification require renewal? Yes, it does. The NBHWC certification has to be renewed every 3 years. And there is an annual fee of $75 for administration, upkeep, et cetera. It is a nonprofit organization. So they do require fees to fund all their operations. So annual fee of $75. And then every 3 years, you have to renew with 36 continuing education credits or 12 a year, which averages out to 1 a month. The NBHWC does offer free quarterly connects. So they're hour-long webinars, workshops that you can participate in, complete a short survey afterwards, and you can get 1 hour for each of those. So you can get 4 of those free per year through the NBHWC. And then they have a whole list of other approved continuing education courses, including workshops, online trainings, etc. And then you also can petition for other courses to count towards credit. Let's say you take a behavior change course somewhere that's not already listed, you can petition them to count that as credit as well. Next question. Do we have a post-program network for graduates to stay in touch? Well, I loved this question. We did not have one of these prior to this week when I read this question and created one for you all on LinkedIn. So this is my first time creating a LinkedIn community. When I send you this video, I will also send you a list of many, 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 many links that I reference to here. One of them is the link to join our LinkedIn community. So this will be just for graduates of the Mesa College Health and Wellness Coaching Program. You can ask questions, share job postings, etc. You will have to be approved to join so that it's only members of our program. So please request to join when you get this, and bear with me as I go through and approve folks. The job market. This was one question asking about what is the job market like out there. Specifically, this person asked about hospital-based jobs or healthcare and about private practice. So the health coaching field, as many folks that I've talked to in our advisory board and the NBHWC like to say, is in its infancy. Yes, coaching has been around for a long time in various forms, but up until the NBHWC developed their gold standard, anybody could call themselves a health and wellness coach, and still legally anyone can. So what the NBHWC is trying to do is to provide a gold standard so that we can elevate the field and improve job opportunities and compensation for coaching. But really that has only been happening in the past decade or so. So one thing many of you know is that the NBHWC has worked with the American Medical Association on CPT codes, which are insurance reimbursement codes for health coaches. Currently, those exist in category 3, which are research and development stage. Category 1 are the codes that can actually get reimbursed by health insurance companies for services. So right now, health coaching is not there, and there hasn't been a lot of information from the NBHWC as of lately around where that stands. So with that, that provides some barriers to coaches. Currently, it is difficult to find jobs in the field because there are a lot of people getting certified, and there are not a ton of jobs out there for all of the highly qualified and competitive folks that come out. So a couple things that I do know that helps folks find jobs in the coaching space are Spanish-speaking coaches. There's a high need for Spanish-speaking coaches, dual credentialed coaches, meaning coaches who might also have a credential or a licensure as a nurse, a dietitian, physician, a pharmacist, or maybe, again, credentials as a fitness professional. Those dual licensures or dual credentials do help folks. And there are ways to get into the field. I just will not lie to you. It is a challenge. So what I'm including in my links to you is Pillar Health, which serves both as a recruiting company for health coaches. So that is something that I will send to you as you're graduating from the program. You can join their network, and then they actually get job requests from various companies that tend to pay better than job requests or job posts you might find on LinkedIn or Indeed, tend to offer more benefits. And they often only offer to Pillar's community because they can narrow their search results. So I will send you information on how to join that. They only accept NBHWC certified coaches. They also do some research on the state of coaching and compensation. So I will send you their most recent research paper on the state of compensation in the health coaching industry. And one of their executive members I met with recently, and she wanted me to share with students that it can sometimes be difficult to get a first position in the health coaching industry. So she encouraged students not to be shy of entry-level positions where you might not make as much as you want. They might be part-time, and you can hone, build your skills and make connections to build up and over in the ladder from there, to build up to more full-time employment and more well-paying employment. And then also to consider coaching adjacent positions, things like enrollment management specialists, where you can use your coaching skills with a coaching company and then parlay those to moving into a coaching position. I have also included in the links that I'm sending out the NBHWC 2024 annual survey. They do put these out every year. So when I get the 2025, I'll send that out to you. But the 2024 survey, or the surveys they do every year, ask NBHWC coaches all kinds of things from, are you working in the field? What are your personal demographics or characteristics? What other degrees or licensures do you have? How many hours a week are you working? Are you working in a private practice or in a hospital or corporate or digital setting, etc. So it gives you a real accurate, up-to-date glimpse on what the field looks like. And of course, as many of you have heard probably in the field, and that I try to be very transparent about, is that the biggest pain point for folks in the survey was hourly wages. They want and need those hourly wages to be higher. And we know that it's very expensive right now to live in California, in San Diego, in the United States. And so that's definitely a pain point for many coaches. In the 2024 survey, they had 2,350 coaches respond. A couple things to note: 68% of those were currently working in the field. Of that, the rest was split by folks who had worked in the field but weren't currently, around 20-ish%, and then 20% who had not. And those who weren't working in the field, the most common reason was inability to find a job. About half of these folks worked full-time, half worked part-time, and 56% were self-employed with their own private practice. So that brings us to the point also that private practice is a big way that many coaches are starting, or they may be working part-time for a coaching company, whether that be corporate, digital coaching, medical, etc., and then starting their own practice on the side. Average hourly wage was $45, but this went up quite a bit higher from there as well. So that was the average. And then over half of full-time coaches earned more than $65,000 a year. So when you could find those full-time positions, they did pay reasonably well. A couple other things to think about when it comes to finding employment before I talk a little bit about starting your own coaching practice. When you sit for the NBHWC board exam and pass, they do have an NBHWC job board. So that posts job postings specific to National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coaches. Like I said, Pillar is a company that you can sign up for their network as a health coach that connects you to other coaching positions. And then I've also included a personal list of coaching companies that I have put together that hires coaches. And I will say that one that I think is doing a good job in hiring coaches and using a really comprehensive coaching model is the VA, Veterans Administration. So check that out. And then a little bit about starting your own business. Yes, it is hard to find clients. It's possible, but it's certainly difficult. As many of you know, I run our personal training program as well. And I tell students the same thing there. There are not 100 people just waiting to knock down your door and start paying you for services, but you can find them. You do have to put in a lot of work at the outset and continually, and probably have another form of income when you first start at the very least. That being said, it is doable, it is possible, especially if you research things like how to help folks use their HSA or flexible spending accounts for coaching services. That is possible. And the NBHWC has some information on how folks can use their HSA for coaching services. It's possible by partnering with chiropractors' offices, medical clinics, acupuncture, etc., other offices, allied health offices, where you can offer, advertise, or deliver coaching services to partner it with fitness services you might offer, or in your local community-based centers, faith-based centers, etc. It is possible to find clients. It just is challenging. So I do recommend having another job and expecting that to take some time. When you are finishing the program, we have began cultivating a subject matter expert series for you all. And a couple of the lectures we have in there are on the topic of building your own health coaching business. We do have one on that. And we also have one on authentic coaching marketing and gaining a clientele. That one I really love and I think is very beneficial. A couple other additional things that I recommend to folks around starting your own business are taking Mesa's Business 129 entrepreneurship class. I highly recommend it. Helps you write a business plan. And then as a second step to that, once you've taken that course, you are able to take Mace's Small Business Virtual Incubator program. That is a semester-long program. You only need to be enrolled in that one course that enrolls you in that program, that I believe is a single unit. And they offer you financial, legal, marketing, etc. support for building your own small business. But you do have to come into it with that business plan already started, which you can create in Business 129. I highly recommend it. It's completely virtual, so you don't have to be in San Diego. I will include the links in this email, and many of our students have reported great success with that before. I also include links to a couple other companies that I recommend for health and wellness coaches. Examples are Wellspired. This is a company that is completely dedicated and focused on the business aspect of health and wellness coaching. So they have both free lectures for coaches, paid CECs, continuing education credits for coaches that again can go towards renewing your certification every 3 years. And they have a business academy that helps coaches launch their coaching business. And they are a really excellent resource. I've looked at a lot of their materials. I've attended their continuing education workshops and lectures, most recently one on AI and coaching. I've seen their founder speak live at conferences and events. And so they are a really excellent resource. Another wonderful resource that I've included is Meg Root, who is a health coach educator. She runs a Substack called Lean Into Coaching that has great articles on getting hired as a health coach, how to get started, creating your own business if that's something that you want to do, but a lot about just getting hired, whether or not you want to create your own business. And she offers free coaching mentorship sessions to new coaches, no cost, completely free. So I include the link for that too. Highly recommend. And again, I recommend you continue to make relationships, find mentors like that, go to coaching conferences, make connections. There's a coaching conference every year in San Diego called the Health and Wellbeing Coaching Conference. It's the only conference as of now dedicated entirely to health and wellness coaching. So I recommend looking into options like that as well. The last question I had was specifically about MBSR teaching certificates and CBT certificates. So MBSR is mindfulness-based stress reduction. This is a certification you can get to lead MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction classes. This is an evidence-based methodology to teach people to use mindfulness techniques to lower and manage stress. They typically are in 8-week group coaching classes. This is a robust certification. They are offered at a variety of colleges and continuing education centers around the country. UCSD has one, is the closest one to San Diego, at least that I know about. And the requirements vary, but general prerequisites are 2 years of personal mindfulness practices and ongoing commitment to retreats and practices. And then they typically have multiple layers of teaching. So foundational training, which typically involves a retreat and a month-long MBSR training, and then 2 levels of teacher training that require supervision and feedback, and typically require teaching an 8-week-long series with supervision and feedback. And the programs that I was able to see run between about $8,000 and $14,000. That's a very robust training. CBT certificates, I am less familiar with these. And when I did a little bit of digging, most of them I saw were aimed at clinical professionals, mental health care practitioners. So that wouldn't be something appropriate for health coaches. There were a few that covered CBT for non-clinical practitioners. However, what I would recommend here is the most cost-effective option that would also support you in getting CECs would be to search for CEC continuing education classes that focus on things like cognitive behavioral therapy or behavior change. So that is my quick and dirty overview of the questions you have all asked. Like I said, links below to give you more information and details on the questions you are requesting. And as always, reach out to me at any time with personal questions or advising that I can help you with personally. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I hope to talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.